Well, good afternoon folks, and welcome back. Welcome to another review video. We are looking at Palma in Majorca, on the island of Majorca. This is a new scenery from Justflight, just came out a few days ago. I did ask for a review copy, but didn't get a reply, so in the end I decided to purchase it anyway, so that I could do a review this week. So this is Palma, Lima Echo Papa Alpha, on the island of Majorca. It's the main international airport for this island, one of the 3 Balearic Islands in Spain. Scenery is by Justflight. Download is 534 megs, and it installs into the community folder at 1.29 gigabytes. Price, UK price is £14.99, which equates to €17.67 or $20.41 US. These prices include tax, VAT. Bear in mind that the tax or VAT may be different depending on the country where you purchase from. Currently the scenery is available from Justflight Direct, justflight.com. It's not yet available on Sim Market or anywhere else, not sure if it will be. So just a quick word about the install. As I said, the scenery is purchased direct from Justflight, and then you'll be able to download an executable file. Note that you need to have a Justflight account in order to install this scenery. Basically, when you run the exit file, it will ask you for your registered account email and your account password, and it'll then essentially log you in and activate the scenery. There's no activation code or serial key. You just essentially use your account login when you run the executable. Another interesting thing to note is that this will install into the community folder. You have no control over where the executable file installs the scenery. I mean, obviously afterwards you can then manually move the scenery to a folder of your choice and use any kind of program to link it to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. But it installs directly into the community folder. You can't change that path. As for me, it found where mine was and installed it fine, no problem at all. But for those of you who tend to customize your scenery, that's just a bit of information you'll need to know. So you need an account, a username and a password with Justflight from their site after you download the file to install this. Installation was straightforward, no problem at all. So just a quick thought on this scenery before I start going into detail. Bear in mind you've got the airport itself. Detail is really quite good. There has been no additional detail or changes added to the Palma town or the harbour or anything else. This is just the airport. What you're seeing around the surrounds here is default Bing data. A couple of other things to note. After I installed this scenery, I had to reverse out of it and load it 4 times in order to get all the gates to appear. Basically I loaded the scenery at a gate and there was no jetway, so I had to exit out and load it again to get the jetway by my aircraft. And then when I looked around, I noticed that none of the other jetways or any of the other stands were loaded. So basically, to get most of the stands jetways to load, I had to basically back out in and out of the program, or the scenery rather, 3 or 4 times. This is noted in their documents. If you go after you install it, you go into the documents folder of the scenery, you'll find a PDF file that does explain some of the shortcomings at the moment and how to get around them. But this is version 1 of the scenery. Having said that, it's good. It has everything you need, and for a change, all of the navigation aids that are listed, runway end identifier lights, high intensity lighting system, touchdown zones, etc., are all there as per the charts. So that's very pleasing. So there you go folks, scenery of Palma, Majorca by Justflight, Lima Echo Papa Alpha. This is the major international airport of the island of Majorca, one of the 3 Spanish Balearic Islands. Let's have a look at some history. So a little history before we go on. Palma de Majorca Airport, also known as San Joan Airport, is located 5 miles or 8 kilometers east of the main town of Palma on the island of Majorca in the Spanish Balearic Islands. In 2020 the airport handled 6.1 million passengers, which was after the COVID. Before COVID it was 27.9 million, making it the third busiest airport in Spain after Madrid and Barcelona El Prat. The airport was the main base for the Spanish carrier Air Europa and also a focus airport for airlines like EasyJet, Jet2, Ryanair and Vueling. The airport shares runways with the nearby San Joan Air Force Base, operated by the Spanish Air Force. In the early decades of the 20th century, Palma operated airmail services using seaplanes into the port of Palma. Later, a study was undertaken to examine the feasibility of developing an aerodrome at 2 locations. These are flat fields, San Joan and San Bonnet. Both were then chosen for construction. In May 1935, the company Lepa, Líneas Aéreas Postales Españolas, or Spanish Postal Airlines, the predecessor of Iberia, was founded, and a month later the first regular air route between Palma and Madrid was established using San Joan Aerodrome to start with. 3 years later, Lufthansa and Iberia began flights out of San Bonnet, while San Joan was largely used by the military. Later, with the increase in traffic and the inability to enlarge San Bonnet, a proposal to build a large civilian airport near San Joan Air Base was put forward. The plan was approved, and as such all civilian traffic was then routed into San Joan Airport. And this was the birth of what was to become Palma International Airport that you're now looking at. Subsequently, a terminal and civilian apron were built south of the military facilities, along with the VHF Communications Centre. Also, a VOR station was installed on the island. From July 1960, the airport was open to both domestic and international traffic, and in the same month, work began to extend the runway and taxiways. Later, more plans were made, including a power plant, communications centre, and fire and rescue facilities. By 1962, a new terminal was built and navigation facilities were fully installed and set up. Construction of a second runway parallel to the existing one was begun in 1970. 2 years later, Terminal B went into service and the second runway, 06 left 24 right, was opened in 1974, and that's the runway you're looking at straight ahead of us now. With passenger traffic increasing to over 10 million, construction of yet another new terminal building, the current Central Terminal building, opened in 1997 after being built. Over 50 airlines use Palma, Majorca, and those airline services go mainly into the Spanish mainland, Germany and the United Kingdom. So Majorca has 2 parallel runways, as you can see. 06 left 24 right is the longest at 10,728 feet or 3,270 meters. 06 right 24 left, which we're approaching now, is 9,842 feet or 3,000 meters and is the shorter of the 2. Both are asphalt runways. All runways feature high-intensity runway lighting system, airfield lighting system, centerline approach lights and precision approach path indicators. 24 left has touchdown zone lighting, as you would expect. All runways are ILS equipped except runway 06 right, which is VOR only. So looking at 06 right as you see it now below us is used only as a VOR approach and quite rarely. The opposite end of this runway 24 left is the main landing runway. Runway 24 left is the main landing runway, as I've just said, and it's also ILS Cat 3A certified. The runway 06 left is used for landings during the east landing configuration, so when the winds from the east are coming on the left hand runway. So that completes a bit of history, some detail about the airport. Let's go down and have a close look at the airport infrastructure and see what sort of a job they've done. So here we are looking at my A320neo. We're on Pier C, stand 44, just looking at it generally. Excellent glass, beautifully done there, as you can see. All the ground markings are clear and crisp. There is some weathering on the ground, just little bits here. While we're here, we'll pop inside that glass terminal and have a look, because it's been developed. So here we are inside the terminal, Pier C terminal, as you can see. Very nicely done. The floor tiling looks good, seating looks good there. All of the signs are crisp and clear and readable. Another thing I really like about sceneries. Duty-free shops, toilets. And looking further down the pier, you can see there. Nicely done here inside. Check-in desks, trash bins. Very nice, excellent. Again, good, clear, crisp signage. And just a nice shot there showing you can look out through the glass. So back outside again, just looking generally at the ramp clutter. And bits and pieces there. Good to see the stairwells coming down from the jetways. And just looking in the other direction, as you can see, we've got power plants here as well. And the signage above the road on the bridges as you go into the jetways is good. Now looking down the roadway, again nice crisp clear details, road signage, lanes, everything works out, looks really nice. And just a little pan down the road there, you can see signage above the top, looks really good. Across to the other side here, you can see the other gates. So stand 66 on the southern side of Pier C rather, you can see jetways are there. Again, everything's nicely developed. I suppose my initial impression is the buildings look pretty bland. They're not weathered in any way, shape or form. They look literally brand new, as if they've just been built. It's not really a criticism. I don't know, maybe it's just something I'm not quite used to. If you look at the you look at the tarmac here, it's weathered with oil marks where the aircraft park, which looks great. But the buildings are just completely brand new looking. Hardly any weathering done to any of the buildings on the airport, which is probably my only real criticism so far. Buildings generally though are good quality, very nicely done here. You've got, for example, the glass here where you can see inside. Lots of vehicles. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice airport, a nice project. So the control tower isn't developed inside, so there's not really any point looking in there, but it is nicely detailed. And as you can see, the buildings generally look nice, excellent quality. Roofs are good. Here we've got this big car park here with lots of vehicles. Palm trees. Very, very nicely done. So coming down to ground level here, you can see the palm trees are really nicely done. The vehicles are good, and once again, logos on the vehicles are crisp and sharp, easy to read. Actually, the quality of the vehicles is good as well. No blurry textures. Very, very nice. I've got some flickering here, but I think this is my graphics card rather than their scenery. Again, hoardings, advertising signage, good quality, decent resolution to be able to read it. And as you can see there, lifts going up and down. We'll wait for one to come up. We're inside the bridge and looking in the other direction. There goes the elevator there. As you can see, even the signage inside the elevator is crisp and clear. Very, very nicely done. It's a nice touch. And there's the other one going up there. it's really nice to see good, clear, crisp signage. Just adds to the ambience of the place. So these cars are all the same. It's possible that they're for shipping or something, I don't know. But very, very nice. I believe these are rental cars, possibly. Again, very nice fencing. Foliage is good. Got barriers there to the parking. Actually, I don't know. They may just be cars owned by people working in that building. Not sure. So looking at the fire station down there. Couple of freight trucks. And we just pan along this terminal here. Stand number 18 and 22, they are missing jetways, and that's noted in the documentation provided by Justflight. Again, the quality of the ground markings is excellent. As you can see, the buses, vehicles, concrete stanchions, road markings, really, really nice, very crisp. It's excellent, very nice indeed. And here you've got the, I believe it's the illusion of people working inside. We'll have a quick look, see if there's anything in there. No, okay, inside's not been developed, but that's okay, that's fine. Very nicely done. Right down to the buses. Excellent. It's another nice glass building. As you can see, it's been done inside, so we'll have a look. And there we are, restaurant, vending machines, children's play area even. Very nice indeed. And departure gates and seating on the lower level. Excellent. And again, you can see out through the glass. There you can see the reflection of the radar tower turning. So all in all, it looks really good. As I say, some of the buildings look really brand new and don't seem to be weathered. That's probably the only real criticism I can give. But everything else is absolutely really nice. It's crisp and clear, notwithstanding the little problems that you have with some of the gates disappearing. And as I said, I had to sort of reload the scenery 3 or 4 times to get all of the jetways to appear. It's a really extensive scenery, very well done. Markings are excellent. Finding a way around here is going to be a lot easier. It's a big airport. And as you can see, it's been very extensively developed. They've done a grand job with this airport. I've flown into Majorca many times myself, both in real life and in the simulator. And I've seen various versions of Majorca being done through FSX and P3D. I have the Justflight version. This is at least as good as the Justflight version, but probably better in so many ways because of the attention to detail and the ground, bits and pieces added on the ground that are missing in the Justflight version. Makes it a really good scenery. It's right up there with among the best. Very impressive. From this point of view, the only criticism, as I say, is the buildings could have been maybe looked a bit more weathered. But apart from that, that's great. It looks really good. Looking forward to version 1.1 or version 1.2 when they fix some of the little issues. I believe they're currently in contact with Asobo about some of the problems. But definitely it's a complete scenery. It is finished and I'm glad it's released. Looks good. So let's turn the lighting down to dusk and see what it looks like. So here we are, 7:15 in the evening, local time. As I say, this is October, it's real time. The only thing I haven't done is added real weather, left it clear so you can see all the detail. Lighting is good, it's very subtle. During my initial searching around the airport here during this time, before we started this review, I did kind of run around, and some of the lighting sort of quickly appears and disappears. But I think that's true of many sceneries. And you've also got these little light bubbles as well. For example, actually I can't see them here, we will look at them later. There are those, but again they appear in almost every scenery I've looked at. But again, what you can see, one of the most important things, you can see green centerline taxiway lighting, the blue airfield edge lighting, taxiway signs are lit as well, even though we're only at dusk. And everything's really clear and visual. And here we're looking at the approach to runway 24 left. Coming in towards us is the main landing runway. Generally, here you can see you've got edge lighting, end identifier lights, touchdown zone lighting, and also there are high resolution approach lights as well. Taxiway's well lit, centerline and the sides, so you should have no problem taxiing in low light or darkness conditions. And bear in mind that 24 left, this runway is category 3A certified. A general look over the airport there towards the southwest. Very, very nice subtle lighting. Again, runways, taxiways, everything's well lit, easy to see. Very impressive. Let's get down a bit lower and have a close look. So here we are, just panning across some of the stands. Again, the lighting's really nice, even inside those gate rooms there. And once again, the down lighting is lighting the correct area. The light source is correct as it should be. Very, very nice. There you could see some lights just came on. And even these little buildings are just nicely lit. Here we're looking at the gate room in gate 50. You can see the inside's been developed a little bit there. And we've got departures board inside the gate. Only criticism here I think is the light is a bit over the top. It's very, very bright. Probably too bright. And you can just about see out through the windows there. But to be honest, that looks good. There's a possibility that it's really bright inside to allow you to be able to see it from outside through the glass, because when the glass is slightly misted, perhaps if the light was less intense you probably wouldn't see inside. So there's a trade-off there, which I have absolutely no problem with at all. It's really nice actually. Everywhere you look here you can stop and capture little views, little parts of the airport, and just see how nice it looks. As I say, my only criticism, it probably looks too clean, the building work, but everything else just looks great. Very, very nice. Jetways are good. I don't know if they actually work, and somewhere on this airport you do have these stand entry guidance markers, things that help you taxi in and stop. They work at some stands, not at all, and there are occasional little bugs with the current version of Flight Simulator that occasionally cause them not to appear. Again, Justflight have documented that anomaly in their documentation, and they tell you how to fix it so that you can at least get some stand entry guidance. So we just have a pan across the top of the buildings. As you can see, you've got this odd anomaly where sometimes lights just suddenly come on and then they suddenly don't. There to the left. But I can live with that. That will get better, I think, as the sim gets better. And here you can see there's an example of where we've got the floating bulbs Again, they're not on any poles, they're providing light, but they don't actually exist anywhere. But as I've said before, these are in many other sceneries. When you're up close like this, they're easily noticeable. But when you're far away or higher above, they're not that noticeable, but they do help to provide lighting, which is fine. And going over here, again, a nicely subtle lighting. I love the way that building is lit. That looks really, really nice. And there you can see the elevator in that building we looked at earlier. Very nice indeed. And there's the signage on the building. Very nicely done. And we'll continue our tour over these car parks. As you can see, the roofs sort of suddenly start to appear. There are visibility issues here, but again, as far as I understand it from my research, this is these are limitations of Flight Simulator with the Sobo at the moment. Nice hangar down there. More buildings, more stands. And again, you can see the light poles that are lighting the area as they directly underneath them. So the light is coming from the right source. It's not spurious or produced by any other source, which is excellent. Here we're coming down to 06 left threshold. Taxiway signage, ground signage is excellent. So here we are at the threshold of 06 left, just again to show you the signage. They've got the wigwags, what we call the wigwags in the UK. And as you can see, the actual runway signage, ground signage is excellent. Well lit, and also reflects onto the concrete. So you've got the reflections, which some sceneries don't have, so it's a nice touch. Now we're looking down the runway itself. As you can see, the lighting is excellent. You don't have any problems landing there. Beautiful. So let's go into the full darkness hours now and have a look at the lighting. So here we are, 20 minutes to 10 in the evening. Darkness has fallen completely. And we're looking at the airport central area. And as you can see, the lighting is excellent. It's come up a little bit. And it looks really good. Looking to the left there, runway 06 left, 24 right. You can see taxiway, centerline lighting, runway itself, signage, and the airfield blue light, edge lights, all looking good. So taxiing around at night's not going to be a problem at this airport. Again, another nice touch to see the bus there has got front and rear lighting on it as well. So here are at stand 44 where I parked my aircraft, and you can see this Pier C now is extremely well lit. Not trying to decide if it's too much. I think it's okay, to be honest. It's a very, very bright building, and as far as I can see from my research, this is very similar to how it actually looks in the real world at night. It's a very bright building. Let's go inside. Just before we do, I wanted to show you the ramp there that goes down in front of it, see? This here. And here we are inside. Again, the lighting looks good. Everything is well lit, easily seen. And the signage as well above, all crisp and clear. Very nice indeed. So just looking at stand 54 on the other side, here you can see you've got the illusion of seeing inside the building, which is quite nice, very, very nice. It's quite well done actually. And a closer look at the gate room. This one has the arrivals and departures board, and also what looks like some shops behind it, so we'll pop inside. And there you go. As you can see, it's very bright. And in fact this sign is actually pretty much washed out, but it's nice. We've got these shops here and the illusion there of going down a jetway. Very impressive. Okay, things blur a little bit when you get up close, but it's still really well done. Very nice, nice touch. Very nice, just panning across the ramp here. All looks really good actually. Very impressed with it. As you can see, centerline lighting is a good order. All the taxiway signs are really well lit. Rental car agencies. This is a bit off airport, I think, but I thought we would have a quick look. And crossing the threshold of 06 right. As you can see, it's got a displaced threshold. Again, the wigwags. Very nicely done. Additional stands further down here. And just the right amount of lighting from the right source shining on the right area. There's a bus with the headlights on. It's all really well done, and bear in mind this is version 1 of the scenery, so maybe some updates to come. Very, very pleasant. In fact, Justflight have said they will release updates as the simulator improves and things change. And there you can see the city of Palma in the distance. So let's have a look at dawn. So here we are, sun's just coming up. It's 3 minutes to 8 in the morning local time. And as you can see, the lighting has started to fade, but it still does look really good. The brightest building on the airport is of course the new Pier C. But all in all, that looks really impressive. So let's bring the lighting up a little bit more. Bring the time of day up a little bit more. So 10 AM local time, and now you can see the airport in all its glory. And I really like the way it fits into the default scenery. Here you can see everything seems to fit really well. They've done a very nice job with that. So there you are, folks. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you found it useful. As I said, this is Palma, Majorca, the island of Majorca, Lima Echo Papa Alpha in Spain. Scenery by Justflight, version 1, the very first release of this scenery. 1 or 2 little anomalies that are actually documented in the Justflight PDF file that comes with the download. Bear in mind you need a Justflight account, an email and a password, so that when you buy the scenery you're able to execute the executable file. Log in using your email and password. There is no serial code, and that will complete the installation. And bear in mind the install goes straight into your community folder. You don't have the option to change that path during the installation routine. Download is 534 megs and the install is 1.29 gigabytes. Prices UK £14.90, which translates to 17.67 euros, or $20.41 in US, and those prices include tax or VAT, which will vary depending on the country you make the purchase in. What are my thoughts? I like it. It's at least as good as the Just Sim version, but where it scores better than that version is the extra detail and the attention to that detail. You have very little, hardly any low resolution textures within the airport work boundary itself. Everything's crisp and clear. In fact, my only criticism really is the buildings themselves look too clean. There hasn't been any weathering applied to the buildings. But everything else looks brilliant. It's as crisp and clean as you want it. Lighting is good in low light, dusk and night time. All of the stands are there. Bear in mind that some of the limitations with the jetway. And as I said, the only criticism I've got really is the buildings are a bit too clean. There are 1 or 2 issues with jetways. Bear in mind I had to load the scenery 4 times to get all the jetways to appear so I could run around the airport in this review. But there are issues that Justflight are talking to Asobo about, so look out for an update to this scenery and possibly continual updates. Do I like it? Yes, very impressive. It's certainly worth £14.99 you pay for it. It's an extremely competitive price for the amount of detail you've got. It's a popular airport. Many people fly here from the UK and from mainland Europe, and certainly in the simming world of you and I will do, I can see this airport getting a lot of use. So yeah, I will be using it at the moment in preference to the JustSim version, although I believe JustSim have released some kind of an update recently. Maybe that's worth looking out. But yeah, the Justflight version is certainly worth the price. The work is excellent, top notch, and very impressed with it. So thank you very much for joining me in this review. As I said, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful. Please feel free to put anything in the comments that you want to discuss or talk about. I'll happily talk to you about that. And this is Lee, Virtual Airline Pilot, saying thank you very much. Bye for now. I will see you in the next review. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye bye for now.